Who doesn't love a good movie? More importantly, who doesn't love a good movie from your favorite genre? More importantly, who doesn't love a good movie from your favorite genre that has your favorite director, writer, and cast members? More importantly, who doesn't love your favorite movie with all those components that exceeds your wildest expectations, your wildest dreams? Wild! Taylor Swift has got nothing to worry about. Let's just say that sometimes expectations can really be beaten into the goddamn dirt. But other times, you can just expect a movie to be absolute shit, or expect a movie to be okay, and holy shit, you're so goddamn happy you just want to take it, you want to liquefy it, and you want to pour it to where it goes deep into your throat, and you're gargling on it. I should call her. Nevertheless, I'm John Redland with my 10 most surprising movies of 2024 list with some honorable mentions. That was a pretty gross intro. I'm not going to apologize though. So, all of these movies have been reviewed in full on Letterboxd and as well as a Real Honest Movie Reviews playlist. And I really do want to know what movies surprised you guys. Like what you thought was going to suck and what you thought just was so goddamn good. So and if you notice sometimes when I do some praising lists, sometimes they'll be on the shorter side compared to the ones that are a little more condemning because, let's be honest, people tend to enjoy me knocking movies a whole lot more for some reason. But that being said, let's jump into it with my old ass, Aubrey Plaza, who has a nice ass. That's another story for another day. But let me just say, Aubrey Plaza in a coming-of-age comedy drama with tremendous performances is from Amazon MGM Studios. It was a mystery movie back in September. And ended up actually really being surprising as far as the amount of heart, the amount of great comedy, and the fact that it got through my black heart and made me cry. And I'm not going to talk about the twist. For those that haven't seen it yet, it is on Amazon, by the way, if you do want to check it out. No, it's not a plug. I just felt the need to say that. But this is really good, and Aubrey Plaza delivers some great lines, but there's just so much good, yet despite it being so simple and despite the crazy premise and the fact that it shouldn't work, it does. And then we go to Sing Sing. Coleman Domingo and some other, actors that apparently were former inmates of Sing Sing got together and did this A24 production. It was another mystery movie. By the way, if you get a chance, if you have a Regal or you have a Lowe's or AMC, whatever the fuck you call it there, and you get a chance to check out movies on Mondays, always check Fandango, always check your apps, and see if they have mystery movies coming up, and give it a shot. There have been some I've skipped out on because they haven't interested me, but that's the thing. If you can get it right, you pay $5 or whatever it is. No, this is not a paid advertisement, but I feel the need to say this because I always talk about mystery movies and some people are confused. Bottom line is you could be surprised, like I was with Sing Sing, and tremendous acting. If Coleman Domingo does not get an incredible amount of offers based on this alone, it's disappointing. And the rest of the cast, former inmates, they did great. It was a well-balanced story. It told it so beautifully and had some great goddamn chemistry among the cast, some great comedy, but a lot of really gut punch stuff, especially a gut punch of a goddamn ending. Sing Sing was fucking tremendous and is likely going to do great on the awards circuit. So, the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, after pretty much hating Operation Fortune Rose de Guerre that Guy Ritchie did, hopes were not high necessarily for this because even though the previous two that I mentioned, My Old Ass, I thought looked okay, exceeded. Sing Sing, I thought looked good, but I thought might be a little bit too preachy or whatever, exceeded my expectations. I had low expectations for this, but it had a great cast and had a lot of really good comedy. Carrie Owles was great. Henry Cavill, I think is how you say it, and just a well-balanced cast. Sure, it plays around with history, but it tells it in such an entertaining way with some great action and some great violence that you can't help but get into it. And I actually saw a special screening of this, I think like maybe a week before it came out, and it was fantastic to watch. Is it the greatest movie on earth? No. Is it one of the best movies of the year? No, but it's one of the most surprising because I expected it not to be that great based on the fucking trailer, and it turned out to be fun. So, let's go to Exuma. Exuma basically is about exhuming a corpse in South Korea, and it turns out not to go all that well because, yeah, certain things end up really just going absolutely balls and tits up. The thing about South Korean horror is they do horror right. Them in Japan, they do horror absolutely right. And the thing about it is Eczema balances telling about history and, with some great violence, some great demonic violence, some great, body horror. And I had, my expectations for this were, I saw the fact that it was out, in theaters in a limited release. It was like, okay, I'll go check it out. I had almost no expectations of this guy. I didn't know what the fuck to expect from it. I recognized a couple of the cast members because I've seen some South Korean movies. But I got a seat. It was a full fucking house. It was goddamn almost slap dab sold out. And for about 2.5 hours almost, I was entertained as fuck. I had a great goddamn time with this. It was so surprising because I didn't know what to expect, and I fucking loved it. It's one of my favorite films of the year. And finally, on Tubi, My Bloody Galentine. It is monumentally stupid, but it is so fun. If they were going for straight horror, they failed. But if they were going for comedy, then they succeeded. I had a great time with this because it was so entertaining and so monumentally moronic. And I think the cast understood the assignment. But again, if they were trying to treat this material seriously, they failed. But man, it was so fucking funny. Just surprised because I expected to hate this. Turns out it was really, really fucking entertaining. So now, let's start proper. Number 10, I Saw the TV Glow from A24. Jane Schonenberg, I believe is their name. They did We're All Going to the World's Fair, which admittedly I didn't care for. At all. I thought it was fine at first, but really descended into just being nothing. It had a message, but the message did not click with me. I Saw the TV Glow, though, had Justice Smith, who just a revelation lately. He was in the American Society of Magical. I'm not going to finish the rest of that goddamn thing, but you know what I'm talking about. And he had one good bit of dialogue in that. Justice Smith was so good. And that's not to say that the rest of the cast wasn't really fucking good in this, but it has great horror elements, talks about, there's still time to change and be who you are, and it's about gender identity and that kind of stuff. I recently did rewatch it, and I'm probably going to watch it again for a third time just to really, dive more into it. The more I see it, the more I like it. Even though it's a tough nut to crack and tough to sink your teeth into, give it a chance, and it's really going to speak to you. It will not speak to everybody, but it will speak to a lot of people. I Saw TV Glow was a lot of fun. So I'm going to go with Wicked at number 9. Why? Because I saw so many ads for this. So many ads. I go to movies constantly. And I'm on social media sometimes, and I was seeing a lot of advertising, but I was also seeing the trailer a lot. To the point, I could practically quote parts of this goddamn movie. Now, I didn't expect much. I have never seen the musical. I like The Wizard of Oz. I actually love the original Wizard of Oz. Haven't watched the Oz the Great and Powerful in a while. Probably will at some point, but I remember it not being that great. And James Franco, well, he dumbed himself out of position, didn't he? Fortunately, he's nowhere near this. This tells the story of Glinda and Elphaba, as I keep calling him, the Elphaba Konosuke Takeshita. That's a deep cut for wrestling fans. Now, if you're a wrestling fan, you will never unhear it. It's about Ariana Grande and Cynthia Vero, their chemistry, and yeah, that basically carries it. There are some good musical numbers. There are some musical numbers I'm like, whatever. But it's more for musical fans, but it is commercially wildly successful. It's going to be impossible not to appreciate what the fuck this movie offers as far as taking a mega popular Broadway musical and bringing it to the big screen. You get the Disney machine behind. It's going to likely succeed. And Ariana Grande was fucking tremendous. Cynthia was as well. Do not misunderstand me. But Ariana Grande having great comedic timing and stuff like that, I didn't necessarily, believe would be the case. And yes, I know she had done some acting before and then gotten into singing, but I'm just saying she did great shit here. So we go to number 8, Rebel Ridge. It was a Netflix original that I thought looked okay, and then saw, holy shit, there are some really good reviews for this. So I caught it a couple days after it came out, and me, oh my, down on the streaming bayou. Why was this not put in theaters? This could have actually made, I'm not saying it would have made a mint, but it would have made some money in theaters. Maybe Netflix should have given us about a 2-week run beforehand, because then you might have actually recouped whatever money you had. And it was great. It was a great balance of, crime thriller, racism, that kind of stuff. Really, really good stuff. Thought it balanced it a whole lot better than The Order, which is another movie that I just reviewed recently. Even though that was based on real life events, I thought Rebel Ridge was fucking tremendous. I didn't know what to expect beyond, like, okay, Netflix original, and wow, okay, it's actually well made. Number 7, Fly Me to the Moon. I went and drove 40 goddamn miles down through bad traffic to North Seattle to watch a special screening of this. You have Channing Tatum, you have the absolutely gorgeous Scarlett Johansson, and it's a telling of, basically faking a moon landing. From Apple TV Films, it didn't succeed nearly as well as they would have liked, which is a shame because, excuse me, I like Fly Me to the Moon. I thought Fly Me to the Moon was a lot of fun because it captured it captured the comedy well. I thought it had a good amount of heart. I thought the time period was captured really well. Of course, Apple's going to pour a lot of goddamn money into a movie. They have more money than about 18 federal governments put together. And they're all about putting their movies on streaming services. So if you have Apple TV and you have not gotten a chance to see this, Fly Me to the Moon actually is rather entertaining. I thought it looked okay from the trailers. And boom, 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 it flew to the goddamn moon, ironically. Good stuff, though. I really had a lot of fun with it. Number 6, Kneecap. Yeah, it's about an Irish rap group that was Irish hip-hop that was trying to keep the native Irish language alive. You had the various members, including Nersha. I'm proud of myself for actually remembering to pronounce that correctly. And they play themselves, and sometimes that could end up actually backfiring. Terribly. It didn't backfire here. They proved to be pretty good at acting. And it's a good thing they had captions, because I don't know what the fuck they were saying most of the time. And it was entertaining. Did it probably play around with the timeline a little bit? Sure. But you know what? As far as pure entertainment, I had a great fucking time with Kneecap. I didn't know what to expect necessarily from the trailer. I thought, yeah, okay, I'll just catch this on streaming. Well, let me give it a shot. Glad I did, because it turned out to actually be a good theatrical experience. Number 5, Inside Out 2. After rewatching the first Inside Out and thinking it was alright, hopes weren't necessarily high for Inside Out 2. Well, imagine my surprise when fucking anxiety took over and I started to cry at a Pixar movie. I liked it. Fuck you. It was very, very surprising. One of my favorite movies of the year. I don't know how high necessarily, because there's been a lot of great animated movies this year. Mars Express, Suriko and the Kingdom of the Winds, and a few others. Don't worry, Spellbound will not be on there, Moana 2 will not be on there, but Inside Out 2, I thought took the story elements of the first and elevated them further, and really captured that teen anxiety and stuff like that, how people always feel, and Mr. Kirkin again, how they feel they're just not good enough because they can't control their emotions and their anxiety and stuff like that. Even as adults, we struggle with it. Number 4, Infested. After Sting, it wasn't very good, and that was about a spider. Oh, it's a French apartment about a bunch of spiders. Okay, this does... Oh, it's actually good. And it was. It's on Shudder. I thought, just based solely on how Sting was, and I thought, okay, maybe there's potential here, but I'm not expecting that much. Within the first 15 minutes, I go, okay, I'm sold. I was locked in. And they understood exactly what the fuck to do. Great body horror elements, some great, social commentary on, like government, citizens and stuff like that, rundown apartments and all that. But Infested just really dived into the horror and did it well, and had some scenes that'll stick with me. Yeah, they're a bit silly if you try to break them down and analyze it, but Infested, in your kids' ears and nested testing, attention please, the French film industry did something that pleases me. Yeah, I know, that isn't, a rhyme for me, but 1 cent, 2 cents, let's get to this. Let's get to 3. There's a Furiosa Mad Max Saga. Look, I like Mad Max Fury Road. I liked it more the next time that I watched it. So then before this, but the original Mad Max trilogy is alright. But doing a prequel and getting the hype that it got, because I was seeing trailers for this for a bit, I wasn't sure about it and decided to give it a shot. And I know that's a running theme here. Anya Taylor-Joy. Fucking definition of a goddess. Good grief. She was the younger Furiosa in a movie called Furiosa Mad Max Saga. I know, how utterly shocking. And Chris Hemsworth was just tremendous as Dr. Dementus. He was just great. And there were a lot of other great story elements here, telling the prequel, carrying the story properly, and not really slowing down. This was a beefy 2.5 hours, and was a wild theatrical experience. It didn't do as well as I thought it would in theaters, which is very disappointing given some of the movies that actually succeeded. But Furiosa Mad Max Saga ended up really surprising me, because I thought it might be alright, and holy shit, blow away stuff, especially the Stairway to Nowhere, I think is the name of the scene. They talk about it on IMDb, where it took like forever to film that damn thing. And yeah, I mean, it's one of the best action scenes all year. Possibly one of the best action scenes of the decade. Number 2, What a Wonderful Day, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. If you told me that I was going to say Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes was really, really good, I would have laughed in your face. Not that I didn't think there was potential, but I was like, eh. Because the first one, iconic, you blew it up, damn you all to hell. But then the subsequent sequels, I just went right to rewatching the Tim Burton one. Y'all owe me for making me do that. And then I decided to check out the trilogy. You saw Dawn, or you saw, Planet of the... You basically saw the other 3 and everything. So, you had Caesar's story, and this is carrying it forward. And it was blowaway. It was a blowaway fucking movie to me. Great epic battles, some great character work. One particular character I wish made it through the whole goddamn movie. You know who I'm talking about. And just a really great balance and possibly setting up another sequel. It succeeded in theaters, and I really hope that we get that sequel in the next couple years. Don't rush it. Take your time with it. Like anybody from the goddamn studio would be watching this list. They got better things to do. But Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes was very, very surprising. And now, number 1, Terrifier 3. And if you would have fucking told me that Terrifier 3 would have actually surprised me and been good, I would have honestly not only laughed in your face, I probably would have passed out from laughter. And then I would have been proven wrong. Look, the first Terrifier had Jenna Cannell, and decent production values for the fact that it had such a minuscule budget, and had the split down the goddamn middle, literally. And then the sequel came out, Terrifier 2, which I hated. I thought actually, Lauren Levera, I thought was fine, and I thought there were a couple decent characters in it, but to me, taking the $250,000 budget and just making it gore for the sake of it and making it an hour longer, basically, than the original, and not having enough material for it, while there were good things and it started out all right, it just beat me in the powder, and was more mean-spirited, I think, than it needed to be. There was no element of fun. That bedroom scene where that girl got ripped apart. Whole point is, Terrifier 3, I was like, oh, God, another one, Jesus Christ. I decided to sit down and watch it, because it was requested, and that opening scene was great. I was like, they found the balance of comedy and blood and everything, and yeah, there are mean-spirited parts to it. Chris Jericho died in it, sorry for the spoiler there, but, unfortunately, he just is dead in the movies. That being said, they found a great balance. The guy playing Art the Clown, Lauren Levera, who is just gorgeous, good God, with respect, good God. And they just found a way to make it work. Him playing Santa, dressing up as Santa was just great. Him having the, handing out toys to the kids in the mall. And you knew something bad was going to happen there. You just don't know what, because unless you've seen the movie. But then it possibly set up for a 4th one. Terrifier 3 ended up surprising me and surpassing my expectations that were honestly in the core. Because I was expecting to hate it. I'm not going to lie, because I hated the second one, but it pleasantly surprised me. Am I saying it's the best horror movie of the year? No, but is it definitely one of the most surprising movies of the year? Absolutely. So, those are my most surprising movies of 2024. What are yours? Let me know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ricklin. I'll see you soon.